Hey everyone. Okay, so we talked about all the things that you need to know about tics, Tourette's, and OCD, how to recognize it, all of that in previous videos last week and the week before. So today I just wanted to finish up with the next line of action. So last Thursday, I believe, or Friday, I talked about what you can do at home starting today, in terms of changes that you can do at home to help reduce brain inflammation, improve immune status, and so forth. Today I'm talking about what you need to do to go deeper into addressing this. And I want to preface this by saying these are typically things you want to be doing while you're working with a practitioner, unless you're extremely knowledgeable. Maybe you've already worked with a practitioner and so forth. You don't want to just kind of, take the throw crap at a wall approach and hope that things work out and so forth. So I do advise working with a practitioner, not only because some of these things can be tricky and you don't want to aggravate the situation, but also because it can get way more expensive when you're trying stuff and you really aren't sure if what you're doing is right. And then in the end, you're spending more money on, trying this and then trying that and then trying this and so forth if you're not super knowledgeable in what the best approach is. So that being said, the first thing that needs to be addressed when you're going deeper into addressing the root cause of these difficulties is drainage and detoxification, which I've talked about extensively before. Just keep in mind, the reason we do this is that toxins drive up inflammation. Toxins just are the first thing we really want to address to basically support the drainage pathways and ensure that we can regulate the immune system and so forth. It's really hard to regulate the immune system when your child is toxic in things like heavy metals, pesticides, mycotoxins from mold, all of that type of stuff. The second thing you need to be focusing on with a practitioner is gut healing. So I said this before, and I'll say it again, 70% of our immune system is in our gut, and regulating our immune system cannot occur until the microbiome in the gut is balanced and leaky gut is healed. So you want to focus on what is going on with the gut, what do we need to heal the gut, and then also healing the gut lining and so forth. Number 3, addressing stealth infections. So this is huge. This can be such a game changer for a lot of kids. Once you start targeting bad bacteria or overgrowth of bacteria, because it's not that all bacteria and even parasites are, I shouldn't say parasites, but all flora, let's put it that way, in the gut is all bad or all good, but it's having it in the right amount. We all have candida. That's okay. It's when we have too much of it that we have a problem. So targeting these infections is key. So if your child has parasites, for example, overgrowth of candida, other bad bacteria, and so forth, it's really hard to resolve tics, Tourette's, OCD, even ADHD and all that other stuff if this is not kept in check. So key for sure. Number 4, I'm mentioning this one. This really does go under detox and drainage, but I wanted to mention it for 2 reasons. So it's NAC, which a lot of people have heard a lot about because of the insanity of the last 2 years and how it can be so helpful with COVID and so forth. So it is an excellent detoxifier. NAC is fantastic. It's a precursor to glutathione. It can be really helpful. However, you do want to be cautious because it does bust biofilms. That's the bacteria or the plaque that the bacteria forms to hide under. So you don't want to go crazy with this if your child, has a lot of gut issues or suspected gut issues going on, because that could just make things worse. And I don't mean worse like permanently, but you do want to use caution. And this is why I say work with a practitioner. And the other thing is you do not want to use this if there is even a possibility of mold toxicity. That's definitely not the right supplement at that point. Number 5, you want to improve timing in the brain. So I've talked about all of the biochemical reasons why kids can have difficulties with tics, Tourette's, OCD, all of that behavior, all of that, and so forth. But then there's the neurological reason. So number 1 is improving timing in the brain. Studies have found that poor cerebellum function is connected, connected to the timing mechanism in the brain, known as temporal processing, is very much involved with motor tics as well as Tourette's. And similar information and research has found the same thing with OCD. This is why things like interactive metronome, which we use in our program, are such effective therapies for tics and Tourette's. The other thing you want to do is you do want to improve if there is right brain weakness, left brain overdevelopment, which is very often the case. And usually that requires, again, a tiered strategic approach as well. Other thing to be aware of is amino acids. So as parents start digging in, they might come across information on how amino acids like tryptophan or 5-HTP, all that type of stuff can be really helpful. So what's been found is that serotonin and tryptophan tends to be low in kids who have Tourette's and OCD. This can, again, going back to gut health, be connected to that gut health factor because many of our neurotransmitters are manufactured by our gut bacteria, but that needs to be a healthy gut bacteria for that to happen in the proper amount and so forth. So I want to caution, if you decide to kind of dive into the world of amino acid therapy, like supplementing with GABA or 5-HTP, all of that, number one, you want to make sure that's temporary because chances are if you don't resolve the real issue here, which is typically brain inflammation, left brain or right brain underdevelopment, stealth infections, toxicity, all of that type of stuff, this is probably only going to work to a certain extent or for a certain amount of time. And then as things get worse, or whatever, it's going to be more problematic. So it's definitely good to kind of keep some fires out temporarily as a natural, healthier Band-Aid approach to save medication. However, you do want to use caution with these amino acids as well. If your child is on SSRIs, if they're on basically anything like anti-anxiety medication, antidepressants, stuff for ADHD, something to, suppress tics, OCD, all of that type of stuff, you need to talk to your doctor or somebody who's knowledgeable in how these things work, because this could further, you just don't want to be using two things that will affect two products, meaning medication and amino acids, that will definitely have a further impact on neurotransmitter production and so forth. So that's definitely something you want to be cautious of if your child is taking any medication whatsoever. So this is, again, the reason why I say consult with a practitioner. I'm mentioning next line of action, not because I'm mentioning as a do-it-yourself approach, but things that if you're working with a practitioner, they should be looking into and addressing if this is being addressed correctly and so forth. So if you want to learn more about our 6 and 9 month programs that address the root cause of why kids struggle with these different, issues and so forth, reach out. I'm going to put a link to book a free clarity call in the comments below. We do have a promo going on right now for Black Friday / end of the year, so forth. And there's different options there depending on the program. So when you book a call, you can learn more about that. And also we do have our No More Homework Battles training coming up December 2nd at 11 a.m. Eastern. I will put the sign up link for that in the comments below as well. It's a free training and it goes much deeper than, create a quiet space and have them do homework at the same time every day and all that type of stuff. It addresses the reason why these kids get so dysregulated, when it's time to sit down and do homework, what's going on in their brain, and how to help address that and so forth, so that homework is not an absolute nightmare every single evening. Okay, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a fantastic day.